This is a natural quartz crystal. What can you do with these? Well, the uses are as endless as you can imagine. You can do healing with yourself and others. You can expand your ability to concentrate. You can work with your emotions. Many, many things. I think the most important thing of all, that in the process of working with the crystals, your whole idea of what you're capable of as a human being expands. The boundaries that you place around you, I can do this, I cannot do this, they just crumble. Because you find, for instance, that you're connected with an endless source of wisdom and knowledge that pours through you, that opens up as you work with these crystals. So this is natural. It comes from the earth like this. 6 faces. This is a single terminated. It has a point on one end, flat on the other. So the line of energy is through the bottom, out the tip. Something like this is a double terminated. You see? 2 points, here, here. So the energy goes both directions. A crystal like this is good for energizing yourself. A crystal like this is good for projecting energy in one direction. Now everything at its essence vibrates. The bodies vibrate. Physical objects vibrate. And the crystal vibrates very, very quickly. A high, steady rate of vibration. So we can work with this vibration with our minds. The crystals store vibration. Anything that's around a crystal, whether it's touch, sound, the environment in itself, is picked up and stored in a crystal. You can transmit from a crystal in the form of vibration. Thought, intention can be transmitted. You manipulate vibration. And when you manipulate vibration, which is subtle, it affects you physically because you vibrate also.
We have an enormity of kinds of crystals, the same as we have an enormity of a kind of people. There are millions of people, there's millions of crystals. How do we select them? We select them basically how we select people. Intuition. Some crystals feel good, some crystals don't. Some crystals look good, some crystals don't. Perhaps it's the tip that is clear. Perhaps it's the crystal that is clear. Perhaps it's the feel of the crystal, or the combination of all of those three. So the crystals are actually a way of you trusting, bringing forth and using your intuition. The basic 2 rules of crystals that we can see amongst all the systems that exist in humanity about using crystals are that you use your intuition and you want to keep your crystals clear, clean. It's kind of like if you have clothing and you've worn your clothing several days, or it's been a hot day, you want to get rid of it or clean it off. Same thing with the crystal. If the crystal has been used a lot, has been kind of programmed, a lot of things have happened, you want to clear it. One method is using the breath. The mind decides that the crystal needs clearing. The mind has to be reinforced by a physical action. The mental intent is followed by a physical action. So there are several ways. One way is the breath. It's a very powerful, simple way. You look at the 2 faces that are opposite, and with your right hand, you put your thumb and first finger on the 2 opposite faces like so. Right? With your left hand, you put the thumb and the second finger on the vertical faces. So you have your horizontal faces and your vertical faces covered. Into your arms, into your crystal, the intent goes to clear this crystal. And starting with this face, you take the breath, you think the thought clear, and you go very sharp, all together. Think, clear. Then you switch. You turn the horizontal faces to the next two faces.
Opposite
Think it
side.
again. Clear. Breath. The final two faces, because there are 6 faces to the crystal. 1, 2, 3. Clear. This can be done slower or faster, but this is one method for clearing your crystal.
Now another method of clearing crystals is called smudging. It's a Native American method. With this you get a container, like an abalone shell or anything that'll hold heat. You take like a little sprig of cedar or sage or sweetgrass and you light it on fire. Now when do you clear a crystal? You clear a crystal whenever it intuitively seems to need it, whenever you've been ill, whenever you've done any healing work, or when it just looks a little gray. Now you see the smoke? You're using the smoke plus your intention to clear the crystal. So you run your crystal through the smoke, and it'll either look more clear, or it'll just at some point intuitively seem to be clear. You can also, if you have a large crystal, fan or blow the smoke over the stone. This is called smudging. If you don't have cedar, sweetgrass, or sage, you can use sandalwood incense. Now that your crystal is clear, you can do something called programming. And you know how we said that crystals pick up vibration just naturally from what's around them? You can use this tendency of the crystal to your advantage by consciously programming in a thought, an affirmation, a color, if you want a particular color to affect your body, a sound, anything that you can think of or visualize, you can program into a crystal. The more effective your concentration and your mental image and your strength of will to send this into the crystal, the more concentrated and focused you are, the stronger the programming is going to be. So you want to clear everything else out of your mind and out of your emotions when you go to program the crystal. It's relaxed concentration, focused but not tense. So let's practice this. You hold the crystal in your 2 hands. You can hold it out or cup it in your hands like this. Now visualize perhaps a nice, bright, golden sun. You want to feel happy perhaps. So you visualize a sun, clear, light. And while you're holding that image in your mind's eye, feel what it feels like to be light and happy. And now think of a sound, a tone that best replicates that feeling of the yellow, sunny happiness. And while you hold the thought of that tone and that mental image and that feeling, concentrate, inhale, and now sound the tone into the crystal. Now the other way that you can do this to program a crystal is to use breath. Use your breath to empower your intention. Now it doesn't really matter how you send the breath. You can breathe short breaths, pulsing the breath, or a long breath. It's the strength of your intention that matters. So for instance, if you want to program an affirmation, like I am happy. Okay, we're using the same image now. So you're programming, I am happy. You focus on this. Focus on being happy. You are happy. It is an accomplished fact. You are happy. Focus, focus. Now you're going to blow in that intention, that affirmation. Focus on happy. Now inhale. Exhale through the mouth. Good. You can do that once, twice, 3 or 4 times if you still feel the need to do that. Now, some people feel that it's most effective to really lock in a program in the crystal when you have a fire going. For instance, if this was a small candle or if I had flame still going, you would pass the crystal from right to left, actually through the fire. This locks in your program. It's not necessary. You can program a crystal without doing that, but some people feel it's more effective. Now, wonder if you're through using the program in the crystal and you don't want it anymore. Then what you do is just clear the crystal with the smudging or with the breath, like we used earlier. Now, when you do your quartz crystal work, you can rely on systems that you've learned and follow the system exactly. However, you won't be nearly so effective is if you can tell within yourself exactly what to do in each unique situation. And how can you do that? You do that by being able to physically feel vibration or to develop an inner sense of vibration. To develop the inner sense, you need to collect yourself in your center. Sort of a feeling of being collected right here. It's called centered. You need to center yourself. Then you need to develop a quietness inside of yourself. Your mind is quiet. Your emotions are calm. And you can do this working with your breath. And you should do this exercise for a few seconds, up to a minute before you do any crystal work. Also, you can do it as a practice for 30 days. See how you feel. You'll feel real different. You could do it for 3 minutes, 7, 11, 31 if you want to. So here's how to do it. You sit with your spine straight, your eyes closed. And you want to do long, deep breathing. So you inhale through your nose. Inhale, 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 filling the lungs. And then exhale slowly through the nose, emptying the lungs completely. You'll greatly expand your lung capacity. Inhale, filling the lungs, pulling in life force with the breath. And exhale completely, slow, 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 emptying the lungs. Inhale, exhale, and feel yourself collect in your center. Now to end the exercise, this was 3 minutes later perhaps, you inhale and hold, and then exhale, opening your eyes. See how you feel.
Now to go further with that, it's very important to be centered, to then take control of your mind in order to get into the deeper spaces, to use the wisdom, to use the natural knowing, to make practical use of crystal work or any other more intuitive work, requires that the normal everyday mind be quieted and able to work on one point only. The mind is like a bunch of horses all going in different directions. And normally we accept that chatter and we stay in that space. Oh, what I did wrong yesterday. Oh, what I'm expecting tomorrow. Always someplace else other than just being now. So we need a simple practice that we can do anywhere. The ancients found that the only practice that they could really rely on, that people could focus on, is the breath. We're always breathing. If we're not breathing, we're dead. So the practice is to simply watch your breath. Watch the inflow and the outflow of the breath through the nose. Simple, but it's really effective. It should be done for at least a minute, preferably 3, 7, 15 minutes at a time, and over a long period of time with no attention to whether or not you're getting any results. The results are happening. They're getting there, but it's a slow build-up process. So the way we do that, again, we shut our eyes, we sit in a good position, and we simply breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. As you breathe in through the nose, you just focus on the area just under the nostril, the upper lip, and you sensitize the breath so that as it comes in through the nostril and out through the nostril, you're simply aware of the breath passing over that point. Then, as you focus that, if a thought comes, you let it go. If a feeling comes, you let it go. Anything that would distract you from simply staying in that place of feeling the breath go in and out of the nose, you observe it. The key word is observe. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. In, out. In and out. Assuming now that this is 10 minutes later, 15 minutes later, you take a deep breath in, into the heart, expand, let it out, and open your eyes, and your process is finished. One of the easiest ways to discover the experience of crystal energy on the body is an exercise with your hands. The reason why we do this exercise is to create a physical experience of the power of crystal, an experience that anybody can feel. Now, the experience itself might be experienced as a tingle, as a pressure dip, as something on the body. This physical experience can be best done by picking up a crystal, putting your hands together, rubbing them very strongly so that there is a lot of feeling. When they're nice and hot, open them up, the palms, lightly blow over them. Gives a feeling of sensitivity. Take the crystal in your right hand, pick a crystal, take it with the point, and slowly rotating the crystal about a half an inch away from your skin, feel if there is some sense on the skin from the tip of the crystal. At this point, when you sense that feeling, extend it out to see how far away you still feel that. And once you've made connection with that feeling on your hand coming from the tip of the crystal, once you identify that, you can then move the crystal over your body and see how far away and in what direction you still can feel the tip of the crystal over the rest of your skin. Do this slowly, practice, and you'll get it.
When you do this kind of work with quartz crystals or any metaphysical work for that matter, you're working with enormous amounts of subtle energy, and it's very hard on your nervous system. The tendency is, when you work with this energy, is you get so used to it that you forget to notice it, and you don't pay attention. It's almost like blowing a fuse. You get shaky like this, or you're suddenly unable to sleep, or you can't get enough sleep, or you gain weight, or you may lose weight, or find yourself being very irritable. You're tired out. So the thing to do is to strengthen your nervous system. You can take it easy on the coffee, the black teas, the sugar, things like that. Drink a lot of water. And also what you can do is drink ginger tea. For this, you can take ginger root like this, cut it up, grate it, make some tea. It's very good for the nervous system. Then rest yourself, rest your body. Be out in nature. Walk on the earth. Get some rest. Even put your stones away. Take your crystal jewelry off. Know when it's time to work and not work. Keep your general health up. Do some exercising. Above all, really listen inside, intuitively, when you've had enough, when it's not time for you to be doing your crystal work, and have the courage to say no and trust yourself. Wait until you intuitively feel like it's time to work, and don't let any other considerations distract you. Okay, let's talk about the subtle energy systems in the body. The physical body
as we said before, vibrates at a slow rate of vibration in comparison with what are called subtle bodies. If you imagine the slow rate of vibration speeding up, getting more fine as it radiates outward, like ripples in a pond go from small to larger to larger to larger, that's how the subtle bodies are. For instance, there's an etheric body about an inch or two from the surface of your physical body. This has to do with a lot of the other energy systems that we're going to be working with, such as Kundalini energy. More fine, outwards, we go into what is known as the astral body. See, this is about a foot out, right? We'll do this in blue. This body has to do with emotions. So whenever you have any kind of an emotion, you're affecting your astral body. Now, we go further, and here comes the mental body. This extends out another foot. Whenever you have a thought, you're affecting this body. See, it's surrounding you. Now, the last one that we'll talk about here, because this really, we only go about this far in the crystal work. This is the causal body. This is also mental. This is your higher mental thinking. Prayer, maybe. Now, all of these bodies interact with each other. So, in your crystal work, what you do in a subtle body affects the physical body. Now, there's another energy system, and this is called the chakra system. These are like a nervous system for the subtle body. Now, you have 7 chakras, and they each correspond with certain parts of the physical body. You can work with the chakras to bring about certain states of energy, certain states of consciousness, and to energize the body as a whole. So there's a root chakra. This is in red. Chakra means like a spinning wheel, and the energy spins, right? And then we go a little higher. This is the center that has to do with sexuality, situated near the genitals. Orange. We're going in the color of the rainbow. Now, we go up further to the navel center. This is yellow. Think of sun, right? Again, it spins yellow. There's a sound associated with this. It's ha, like hara, hara. This has to do with your strength of will. Then we go up further to the heart center, center of compassion, love. This is green. The sound associated with this is ah. Then we go up to the throat. Okay, and this is like a sky blue, color of turquoise. Right, and this has to do with communication, particularly communication of the truth. We go up higher to the center of the forehead, right here. Right? This has to do with intuition, psychic abilities. This is like a royal blue, lapis is the color of this. Then the crown is in violet. And this is very spiritual energy. The highest wisdom, it's hard to explain the center. The highest wisdom comes from here. So you see, you can also use color stones or visualization with your crystals to affect these centers. Red, you can use the ruby. Yellow, you can use the yellow citrine. Carnelian on the orange. Emerald on the green. Turquoise here. Lapis for the third eye. Amethyst for the crown. They're connected with a central cord. Sushumna connects all the centers. Now each center is associated with a particular consciousness, and it's also associated with the corresponding area in the physical body. So if you were going to heal something in the heart area, you might consider green. Now, there's a two-way flow of energy. We haven't covered this yet. This ties the sky, or that etheric energy associated with the top of your head. It ties that with the feet, or the energies of the earth, the grounding. You want to have a complete connection here so that you can pull down from above that higher intuitive wisdom. You can pull that down into the physical plane, here. That's how you channel with your crystals. So we'll draw the lines. into the center of the feet, and they connect in your root chakra, like this. This energy from the earth channels in up the central cord to the heart. Now we channel into the sky, also collected in the heart. The other currents that connect with this come into the palms of the hand where you have chakras, to the throat. Palms of the hand, up the arms, shoulders to the throat, down in the heart. Why are we talking about this energy flow? You can project the earth and the sky energy, gathering it in your heart, and then sending that energy out of the hands into crystals. You can send vitality, life force, earth, sky energy. You can send that out the crystals to somebody that's present or somebody in the distance. See? So let's demonstrate that. Ramana can do that. Ramana? Good. Okay, so what you would do is stand in a relaxed fashion, but with the spine straight. Really feel your feet connected to the earth. So now inhale through your nose, through the feet, like the breath is coming through the bottom of the feet into the heart. Now exhale as you store the energy in the heart. Good. Now inhale through the top of the head, pulling the sky energy into the head, into the heart. Now exhale, holding the energy in the heart. Now, to channel that energy, let's channel both of them at once, right? Okay, inhale through the top of the head and the bottoms of the feet and through the hands at the same time and gather in the heart. Now get ready to blow out forcefully as you exhale that energy out the arm, fingers, and the crystal to send outwards. Good. The breath projects. Try it one more time. Inhale through the feet, the head, gather in the heart, then exhale the energy from the heart out the arm and the crystal, using great focus and concentration. Good. Very often in your quartz crystal work, or in any metaphysical work for that matter, a certain energy can awaken. It's best compared to life force. And as it's awakening, it starts from the bottom energy center or chakra, pierces each chakra up through the top of the head. Now sometimes this energy is called Kundalini energy. This is an exercise that you can do that will prepare the way for the Kundalini awakening. It will also stimulate each chakra. Now as each chakra is stimulated, a certain consciousness and certain types of knowledge and information come to you which are useful in your quartz crystal work. So here's how to do the exercise. You clasp your hands together like this, with the first two fingers together. You raise them over your head with your elbows straight. It's important to do this exercise exactly. You sit on your knees and you say the word Sat Nam, which refers to the guidance of the truth that is inside of you. As you say Sat, your navel point contracts in. Sat Nam, it releases. Now do this for at least 3 minutes. If you can't do it 3 minutes, start for a minute. Your eyes are closed now, and they gaze at the third eye point in the center of your forehead. You keep the pace steady and begin. Inhale, exhale, and Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam. Now inhale. Now pull in with your navel point as if you're sending energy up, up, up from the bottom of the tailbone out the top of the fingers, and relax. Bring your arms down. Normally, of course, you would do this much longer. Now, when you work with quartz crystals, one of the things you do is project energy or intention.
in the form of vibration out of the tip of the crystal. To do this, besides relaxed concentration, it takes tremendous strength of will, sometimes called willpower. This willpower is connected with your navel point, your third chakra. So in crystal work, to help you with this projection, which is so important, you want to work to develop this area, to strengthen this area. Now, as a byproduct, you also strengthen the entire nervous system, and this exercise that we're going to do also helps keep you calm in stressful situations. Good for stress management. So to do this, you can surround yourself with quartz crystals on each side of you. This will amplify the effects of the exercise. You can also put a quartz crystal in each hand. Now this exercise, we hold the thumb and first finger together. Hold these fingers straight, like little antennae. You rest them on your knees. You can sit cross-legged, by the way, or you can sit in a straight back chair with your feet flat on the ground. Now you close your eyes, almost all the way closed, about 9/10, and look at the tip of your nose. And now you want to use the words hara, and contract your navel point as you go ha. So the complete exercise, which you can do from 3 minutes, 7, 11, or 31 minutes, is this. Hara, 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 hara. Now inhale. Exhale, relaxing the position. Now also in your quartz crystal work, it's very important to have an open heart center. Not only does this also keep you calm, relaxed, peaceful, but also gives you a lot of empathy when you're working with other people. When your heart is open, you can sense what other people are feeling. You'll use this in your work. So to do this, this is a very useful exercise. Again, you can surround yourself with quartz crystals. You can sit cross-legged, or what's called lotus pose. Or you can sit with your feet flat on the ground. Now take a crystal and put it between your hands. Now, hold your hands like this and press them against your heart center in the center of your chest. About 2 or 3 pounds pressure. And now close your eyes, focusing on the heart. If you like, envision yourself surrounded by a field of pink light, very peaceful. Now you use the tones Ah, Ra, Ma. This also balances the male-female energies in the body. Inhale. Ra, Ma. Feel as if the sound comes from the heart center, making it vibrate. Inhale. Rama. The spine straight. Now inhale, exhale, opening your eyes and lowering your hands. Now you can do this exercise for 3 minutes, 7 minutes, 11 minutes, or 31 minutes. Don't move on to the next time period until you're very comfortable at the first time period. Now to further amplify the effects of this exercise, you can wear a quartz crystal pendant, or a rose quartz, or a light pale green stone, like green tourmaline perhaps. You can wear that over your heart center. Now this is something you can do with your quartz crystals. As we said earlier, they project. You can project through the tip of your quartz crystal. In this case, we're going to use this ability of the crystal to project intention, color, sound, to balance the body by opening the top chakras from the heart up. It's very good for feeling calm, for healing, for smoothing ruffled emotions, runaway thoughts. You'll feel very centered and calm. Most people have the lower centers open. More often than not, the upper centers are not open. This results in imbalance. Anytime you have imbalance, you have disharmony, and you have various kinds of distress, whether it's illness or mental, emotional problems. So, very quickly how to do this. So you have the person lying flat or standing up, very receptive and open, very relaxed, eyes closed. Put a crystal in each hand. The right hand points out, and the left hand crystal points in, because that's the side you pull energy in. If you like to help the person ground, to stay attached to the earth, so to speak, put a quartz crystal down near the feet. Now, we're going to be using a visualization of the color of each center plus the sound, and we're going to send that into the quartz crystals. We lay it or point it toward the center. You can also, if you're laying on crystals on someone, you can use another crystal to further amplify the first crystal. I'll show you. Pointing toward the heart center, think of the sound ah. And how do you know what tone to sing? They generally go higher as you move higher. See which one vibrates your own center. So think of the tone ah, and imagine a green, the color of the heart chakra. Now, move the crystal up or lie another one on the throat. Imagine the color sky blue and the sound ooh. If you like, you can clear your crystal between each center. The next one on the third eye, making sure if you're laying on crystals that they're in line with each other. You're using the sound E, imagining a royal blue or lapis color. Now the last crystal, place on the top of the head with the point up, or place it on the top of the head of the person lying down or standing, or in this case lay it on the ground over the top. And the sound is Om or floating above the top of the center. Now, if the person is feeling unbalanced or dizzy, you can place a crystal on the navel. Will help ground. So here's another example of how you can charge a crystal to do something really useful, practical. You can take the crystal in both of your hands and charge it with any thought or any emotion that you no longer want to have with you, that you want to pass out of yourself.
So to do this, it's much the same process as charging a crystal. Holding it in your hands. And think of the thought, very clearly focus on the thought that you no longer want to have with you, something that's been bothering you. Or you can experience, put yourself in the experience of an emotion that you've been having that you no longer want to have with you. And when you're concentrated on that, the thought or the emotion, take a deep breath, maintaining your concentration, and blow it into the crystal. Again, focus on the thought or emotion that you want to get rid of. Send it into the crystal. And you continue doing this until the crystal seems dull or looks cloudy, or you feel yourself to be clear of the thought or emotion. You continue, and then you take the crystal in your right hand, point it into the ground in front of you, and focus on the thoughts or emotions leaving through the tip of the crystal into the ground. If you're inside, it goes into the floor, down, down into the earth. If you want, you can use your breath to help empower the visualization of the unwanted thoughts or emotions going into the earth. And you continue doing this until it intuitively seems like it's time to stop. Now the earth will take all of that energy and transmute the negative to the positive.
The opposite side of that is the positivity. You have, the crystal can do both directions. It can receive negativity, it can take and receive positivity. In order to emphasize the positivity, you can combine the crystal with archetypal symbology. For instance, all of the major religions have an archetypal symbol. The cross of Christ, the seal of Solomon, the wheel of Buddha. There are abstract archetypal symbols. Here we have two hands in a mudra position. The crystal is amplifying that energy. The crystal attached to the seal of Solomon, to these archetypal symbols of the different religions, will emphasize, if you wear them, the idea of what that religion is. The same thing with the crystal and colored stones. Do you want to have an amethyst for healing? If you know that that is going to be helping you to be healed, by wearing this, the crystal will be amplifying the power of the stone, the power of the energy, and will be helping work with you. Total symbols, like for instance, here we have courage, a symbol of courage that can be worn. Added to the crystal or with the colored stone and worn, this symbol, consciously knowing that you're wearing it, it imbibes you with that essence of that symbol to be worn for the day. Crystals, the use of them, by adding that with the affirmations, with the visualizations, will simply expand the power of those affirmations and visualizations. It will help you in your daily life. Crystals are a reflection of the mind. Our mind can use the power of the crystal. The crystal, being the member of the mineral kingdom that is able to interface with our own consciousness, we can use the crystal energy as a tool. It's a wonderful tool. The only thing is not to deify the crystal and make the crystal into another god that then we are going to then argue about whether this God is right or that God is right. It's all one crystal, it's all one God, and it's all one love.
But the crystals are special. In fact, the more you use them, the more you realize how special they are. And they teach you. In fact, you can look at them as teachers. And when you work with them, you find that there's a natural path for you. Just unfolds, no worry. And certain abilities start to be discovered. You notice things that you can do or things that are within you that before had seemed miraculous. And now you discover they're just natural. The crystals help you discover this. They help you to discover that there's a truth inside of you. And you learn to trust that. And there's no end to this truth. It just like flows on and on and on and on. And you learn how to work with it. Trust.